That's the sound.
It's the dinner bell. Come on, hey, little one. Oh, here, the big one. I got a good one here. If you always thought the only sure bets in life were death and taxes, then stick around for a pleasant surprise. Hello everybody, I'm Andy Mill, and today we're in Jupiter, Florida, getting ready for another sure bet, live chumming along the edge of the Gulf Stream. As you might expect, the most important thing for a day of successful live chumming is lots and lots of bait. Through a day of fishing, you might go through several thousand baits. So every day starts out the same. The key to live chumming is having enough bait, so it's critical that the gathering process be as quick and as easy as possible. The less time you spend chasing bait, the more time you can spend fishing. Each summer, Florida's intercoastal waterway becomes a bait fish nursery, teeming with schools of 2 to 3 inch long menhaden spawned during the spring. These tiny herring-like bait fish are a primary food source for literally dozens of game fish species, which make them an ideal choice for live chumming. Shortly after sunrise, schools of tiny menhaden can often be seen flipping in the shallow water along the mangrove shoreline and the sandy flats that border the intercoastal channel. Fortunately, the waters around Jupiter, Florida abound with massive bait schools from June through early September, so filling the live wells with 2,000 baits rarely takes longer than a half hour. That is, if you're an expert at throwing a cast net. In the hands of a skilled guide like Captain John Glorieux, opening a 12-foot cast net looks almost effortless. But I can tell you from personal experience, it's much harder than it looks. Throwing such a large net more than a few times would be exhausting. But by spinning, John utilizes centrifugal force, so the cast net's lead line literally pulls itself open. When fully opened, a 12-foot cast net covers nearly 500 square feet of water as it gently settles on the water's surface like a monofilament cloud. In order to prevent the tiny baits from gilling themselves, John uses a custom-made cast net with a 3/8 inch mesh weighted with 22 pounds of lead. To keep thousands of live baits frisky while transporting them offshore, John's egret flats boat is equipped to circulate 3,700 gallons of fresh seawater through the 90 gallons of live wells on board. Once the bait wells are topped off, Jupiter Inlet, whose legendary lighthouse has stood as a silent sentinel to mariners for more than 150 years, affords easy access to the offshore fishing grounds that are nourished by the warm Gulf Stream waters, which come closer to shore here than at any other point in the continental United States. After clearing the inlet, we head for a spot about 10 miles south in 120 feet of water, where John says the tunnies have been holding.
Andy, let's start off with your 8 weight. We'll fish some 8-pound tippet with this popper. There's some good tunnies around us right now, good sized fish.
Boy, it doesn't take them long to come up, does it?
No, you throw enough bait in the water and the predators will come.
What, do they feel the vibration, or do they see the flash of the scales? I mean, what makes them get here so quickly?
You know, the water's so clear today, they do see the baits from a long ways away. They also hunt by sound quite a bit. You can see them popping up
they're right
away.
there already.
But what we're going to do is I'm going to have you make cast over top of the bait that I'm throwing out. The larger fish are going to hang a little bit on the outskirts.
Okay. You gonna be cast now?
actually pull it back up. Try not to get that fly in the water until you're ready for a bite.
Now, do I try to get a specific fish? I mean, they're like everywhere.
Well, it's going to be pretty hard for you to try to hook a specific fish.
Should I do this now? I mean, what
Sure.
do I do?
Now you've got your drag all set. You're all ready for your 8 pound on there?
Yeah.
Go ahead and take it out of the water for right now. Strip out some line. Let's go ahead and plan on a long cast. Don't let them look at it too much. They get used to seeing it.
So a pretty quick strip.
Yeah.
I don't need a fly that's weighted a little bit because your bait's getting down in the water.
Well, let's hold off for just 1 second. Keep it up on the surface.
And strip quickly, you say?
And quick, and very quick, yeah. Okay, one more time.
I tied a couple white flies with weight on them. See, I'm just not getting down to those fish.
Yeah, I wanted to see them bust on the surface though first. You'll get them up. All right, one more time. They may have seen that fly too much already. Go. See, they will feed on the surface, so one more cast.
I think they're home, Billy. Whoa! Well, I think they may feed on the surface.
They will. All right, take it easy. They're pretty quick. Their acceleration's fast. That's the only thing we're going to worry about here is how fast they can accelerate and turn on you.
Well, it took about not even a blink of an eye to clear line right there.
Yeah.
Now these are little tunnies, you say?
Little tunnies. A lot of guys call them bonitas out here, but the proper species is little tunny. If you're looking for world records, that's what you'd look under in the IGFA book.
What's the difference between a little tunny and a bonita?
The amount of spines on their back, the coloring on the side of them. Unless you really know what you're doing, it's very difficult to recognize the difference between Atlantic bonita and a little tunny.
How do you fight a fish in deep water? I mean, it's just like reeling up. In shallower water, you can put an angle on the fish, but in deep blue water like this, you really have no leverage outside of just pulling up, right?
You're right. The angling aspect, being able to use angles to beat your fish,
It's almost non-existent.
definitely is non-existent out here. What you do have is lifting power, and also as they get closer to the surface, the pulling back, you can use angles once they get up high to the surface.
What about sharks? Any big sharks out here that eat these things?
I'm sure we're going to see some sharks today. These bonita are food for all the predators out here.
It kind of surprised me. I was just getting ready to change flies to get a fly deeper into the water, and all of a sudden this thing slammed the popper.
So much fun to get them eating on the surface. And
What sounds so cool.
Yeah.
It's like dropping bowling balls into the water out here.
you're the guy.
Pretty small, huh?
Yeah, he is.
Marlin bait.
Yep, one more time.
These things must make great marlin bait, huh?
Yeah, boneheads they call them. They're
It's amazing they swim so fast with such small fins.
well, they're incredibly quick. These allow them to go up and down in the water. The tail is just one giant motor. I'm going to turn him loose pretty quick here because their blood starts to clot on them real fast.
Pretty sensitive, aren't they?
Yeah, they are sensitive. We want him to definitely grow up bigger.
Yes, sir. Live chumming on the edge of the Gulf Stream. Can't beat it. It's like, what, shooting monkeys in a barrel or something like that?
Okay. That's the sound.
It's the dinner bell.
We have
It's
tone.
It's the dinner bell. I like the quiet presentation you need here. They are pretty sensitive, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
Oh.
There. That's the right one.
Is that a big one, you think?
I don't know if he's that big, but he's definitely a tunny.
I like the sound of this reel. It's like,
I noticed you cut your fly line back.
get the fly line back, put a little mono in there for some stretch. John, isn't it this kind of, I mean, some people would say this is not really fly fishing. I mean, obviously we're throwing a fly with a fly rod, but you get in the water and bam, you got a fish on.
It's a great way to learn to fly fish. It's a great way to get a lot of shots. I mean, our specific reason for being out here today is to get you prepared to fish lighter tippets for tarpon and for some world record fishing you're going to be doing in the next couple months. So this is a great teaching facility out here. It's a place to go to get a lot of shots quickly and to really improve your fly fishing fast.
But also, this is the only way to catch bonita or little tunnies with a fly rod is by chumming, because you're not going to come out here and catch them without doing this, right?
Yeah, there's no way that you could catch these tunnies by sight casting them or visually casting a fly to a tunny other than with live chum or at least chumming them up to the surface. A lot of these ocean-going fish, they just don't ever slow down. These tunnies swim 20, 30 miles an hour every day of their life. I mean, can you imagine if they were in a stream what it would be like? There'd be bullets and boats coming up the stream is what these tunnies would look like. So there'd be no way to cast to them doing 20 miles an hour. So this is just a way to slow them down and keep them feeding in one general facility.
In that regard, you know, you see all these people chasing sailfish and marlin now with fly rods, and that's almost like the end thing to do. Again, there's no way you're going to be able to free sight fish and cast to these big billfish without chumming or teasing them up.
Right.
So the real purists, I mean, they can stick to their trout waters, right?
As one of my customers said, after about 3 years of tarpon fishing and never catching one, live chumming didn't seem to bother him because the school of fish came cartwheeling out of the water. He managed to get his fly in that general vicinity of where they were feeding, and they didn't stop feeding until everything was gone out of the water, including his fly. So he managed to catch his first tarpon by live chumming, but now he's got the bug, and 3 years of waiting was worth it. So he's working hard again at his casting to get a little bit better so that he can go and be a little bit more competitive without the live chumming.
So it's a user-friendly way of introducing an angler to fishing.
Right, right. This is a great place to bring kids and to get kids involved in fishing. It's so visual. It's almost at times like looking down into an aquarium. And when you've got that amount of fish around, the kids really seem to enjoy what they're looking at. And they really get into feeding them by throwing the little baits out as well as hooking them and catching them.
Even when live chumming, some days are better than others. But every trip I've taken off Jupiter has been a unique learning experience. One of the things that makes live chumming so interesting is the wide variety of species it attracts. During subsequent trips with John, I've learned that varying the depth can dramatically vary the catch. From snook on the beach to jack crevalles on the offshore reefs, virtually every fish that swims will make time in its busy day for a free lunch.
Now leave it there. Now go. There, got it. Oh, I'm wrapped totally. Come on. Watch out. I'm in it too, Andy.
Come on, you bad dog.
$5 on the first bite.
You don't want a skier to take your money, do you?
Come, children.
Come to Papa.
Oh, good cast.
Here they come. Come on, I want his $5. Bad.
I gotta make the cast. Ooh, no cheating.
There you go, fly by.
Woo! Keep one.
No, look at this.
Look at the knot. You better start praying.
No pressure, boss. No pressure on the. There's nothing subtle at all about a take with Bonita.
One thing I've learned for certain about live chumming is that you've always got to expect the unexpected. Like the day I hooked my first little tunny, and it turned into a blue plate luncheon special.
Like you need to wear a neck brace, you know? Like, got something. Or something has me, I'm not really sure. Oh, he's gone now. John, that was incredible. This shark just came up and just devoured this bonita. I mean, he was gone in an instant.
The arrival of sharks can often be a good omen because they're frequently followed by schools of cobia looking to feed on the scraps the sharks leave behind.
What I'm trying to do is try to release them without ever having to grab a hold of them. Only the second time I've ever used this. Unbelievable.
Is that right?
That is so easy, it's incredible.
The best aspect of Jupiter is the multitude of species you can angle for on a given day. My favorite are the tarpon. Most people think you have to travel to the Florida Keys for great tarpon fishing. But during the summer, schools of silver kings can often be found cruising the beaches of Florida's Gold Coast as they migrate north. These giants travel the 500-mile migration in large schools, sometimes 200 or more, to protect themselves from sharks. Tarpon also respond to live chum, but I prefer the purest approach, which is casting a fly exclusively. But for the novice tarpon fisherman or beginner fly fisherman, live chumming is the way to go.
Got to be right in the middle. There he is.
If big is better, then tarpon win. Size, along with their aerobatic displays of violent head shakes and rattling gill plates, make tarpon one of the most sought-after game fish, especially on fly. And since you lose more than you catch, the desire for success is overwhelming.
Oh!
Because there's so much to do here, I haven't even gotten around to sample what Jupiter is famous for, the legendary snook fishing. But the snook will have to wait for yet another day, because the one thing I've learned about fishing is that you never leave fish to find fish. And by the frothing of the water and the bend in my rod, we're not going anywhere.
Fly fishing, for the most part, is a visual thing, but doing this is so audio. You know, I mean, you hear these fish smashing the bait. It's a whole different element. And then obviously the reel sing is a little different too. That high-pitched whine. Oh, it's so clear. We're in what? How deep of water are we in?
About 120 feet right now.
Yeah, you can almost see the bottom. Look at the side of that fish. It's brilliant.
See that one swimming with them? Just a little bit underneath them.
How large is
A little
that
bit
fish?
bigger. Well,
5?
no, actually, let's go ahead and we'll start to get an idea. We'll scale them real quick. We'll start to get an idea of their weight so that as we get a little bit closer to records, he's 6.5, 7 pounds.
Kind of a little one.
Yeah, he's a small one again. Try to get him back.
Now, would the bigger fish be tougher to get because of their size?
The bigger fish are going to be a little bit more work for you, but as far as tougher to get because of their size or being smarter, no, we'll get the fly in front of one of them.
Ooh, refusal. I hate that.
Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up.
You don't want it in there?
Go.
These are all runners?
No, that was a tunny.
Okay, come on, come on, come on, come on. There, you little one.
No,
Oh,
no,
oh,
there,
here, the
Tony.
big one. I got a good one here. the best one
A
yet.
little better one.
Mm-hmm. Yes. How lucky is that? I saw about a ton of little ones, and that good one came by and slammed it.
I don't see a lot of real big ones in here today, though.
No, this is I think the biggest fish I've seen. That's a scary thought. You're mono breaking at this point. And you say goodbye to your fly line.
It can get to be a real expensive day real fast.
Yeah, you just keep chumming while I'm fighting because you want to keep them in here, right?
Yeah, right now I'm going to throw a few dead baits just to kind of hold them. The dead baits tend to make them a little bit lazy, and then when you start throwing the fly, we'll go back to live baits.
I haven't even got my fly line back.
It's got to be close.
What's it like when you see sailfish come up here?
Oh, it's so cool. They're black dots. All of a sudden, the tunnies and the
They
runners
all get out of here.
disappear, and you've got about 30 seconds, and here they come. And the sailfish will come in, make one pass, and leave. It's almost like they just wanted to see what was going on.
Like bad dogs in the neighborhood. I'm not used to pulling on anything but 12. Actually 10. I started fishing with a 10 a lot this year.
Mm-hmm.
But when you got such fine tippets, I can see the importance of having that soft tip.
Yeah, what happens is when the fish accelerates, your rod's got to take up that shock until your reel can...
And your arms as well, right?
Yeah, and your arms as well, sure. Every bit helps. See, they do have some pull to them.
They do. What a pretty color. They just circle as they rise,
Yeah.
huh?
Yeah, it's
The death spiral. He died of old age.
One more.
Oh, I thought he was much bigger than that. It's a puppy.
Well, he's a little bit better.
How much do you think he weighs?
I'd say he's probably
10.
10. Ten. Nine and a half.
10.
9.5, 10. Okay. 4 more pounds. That's all you need. 4 more pounds. Get out of the water. There you go.
Is that them?
Yeah, that's them. Go. Yep, that's it.
Listen to that. Listen to that. Smoking Joe. Thank God I didn't have any line on the deck of the boat, because it was definitely not going to make it out of the guides going out that
I
quickly.
thought your spool was coming off the
Yeah.
reel.
Sound like my ex-wife there for a minute.
Live chumming has been around for a while, but creative light tackle guides like Captain John Glorieux, who has fished professionally from Nova Scotia to Venezuela, have clearly taken it to a new level that now allows anglers to regularly target species that were once only chance encounters on fly. Live chumming also has made it possible to catch everything from snook to tarpon to dolphin, yes, and even sailfish, all in the same day. Now that's an ironclad guarantee for rod bending fun.